Well, she was probably one of the most beautiful young ladies you could even imagine. You know, she was the kind of girl, when she walked in a room, she literally did bright up the room, and all you have to do is look at her to know why. She had great features, she had an outgoing personality, and the most beautiful heart you could ever find in a human being. You know, we only get so good as far as loving people and caring about people. I think she's on that upper area where you can say that she really was truly a good human being. She never really deserved what happened to her. I don't think anyone does. I think a lot of people have the misconception of the fact somehow people put themselves in the position for this to happen to them with their lifestyle. Well, that wasn't the case here, and it's not the case in many, many cases. It could happen to you, it can happen to me at any given time, and nobody really knows. You know, it could be a case of some fool in road rage, or just crossing the path of someone that's just an evil person.
Tell us, what happened to your daughter?
Well, where I understand it, she had got off of work. She was on her way home with her mother, who she was in the process of moving back in with out in the country. And someone had basically followed her and cut her off, is what we believe, and she was shot in her car.
Tell us about that murder not having been solved yet, those unanswered questions.
Well, you can't imagine. You know, I think a lot of people think that most homicides get solved, that there's so much out there that police can work with, and they don't realize that there's probably 1 out of 10 that never gets solved. Now, most of them that get solved are solved because you know the perpetrator. You know, there's a connection. When there's not a connection and there's not really any witnesses, it truly is extremely hard to solve the case, and those are the most frustrating ones to the police, and they'll tell you that, you know. If there's no evidence, no smoking gun, and a lot of times there's so much evidence that you think is there, and it's just not quite enough. They need that little bit, that little one person coming forward and having the right information, and to link it up with the police to get the case solved, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize.
What would you like to see happen now?
Of course I would like to see the case solved. You know, you can't imagine the grief you go through, and a lot of people think that, well, the years you get over it. Well, you really get to where you can live with it. And the fact you lost a loved one this way, it's never going to bring them back. And I talk about two separate emotions. The emotion of losing a loved one, which could have happened in any way, that will never be the same. But I have another problem, which I call the anger element, where someone decided to take a life and they're not being held accountable. So I have a lot of anger towards not just the person who committed the act, but the fact that they have not been held accountable.
If you could have a face-to-face with someone who knew what happened to your daughter, or that knew what happened to your daughter, what would you like to say to them?
Then I would say, imagine someone you love most in life, someone you love so much you would give your own life for. Imagine someone else taking their life and the case not being solved. Wouldn't you want someone to come forward with that information so they could be held accountable? Wouldn't you want justice for that loved one?